In the last two videos, I talked about what emotional baggage is and how it shows up in your life. I ended the last video by telling you that if you have emotional baggage, you're totally normal. In this video, I'll tell you about what's going on behind the scenes and what to do about it. Most of the time, we beat ourselves up because we think our emotional baggage is bad. It's not bad or good, it just is. If you have emotional baggage, it means your brain is working just fine. And speaking of the brain, it's so helpful to learn about how it works. The basic idea is that your brain has two parts. The first part has lots of nicknames, but I'll just call it your primitive brain. This part of the human brain has been around forever. Its job is to keep you safe. You may have heard of fight, flight, or freeze. This is where it comes from. It notices danger and self-protects. Your unconscious motivation and impulses originate here. It's where fear lives. This primitive part of the brain responds instantly to perceived threats. So now let's talk about the other part of your brain. It also has lots of nicknames, but let's just call it the prefrontal cortex. That's the part that keeps you from drinking out of the toilet. It's what makes you uniquely human. It's where you imagine, plan, and make decisions. Think of it as your conscious mind. So I'm going to show you this idea of the two brains using a demo from a psychiatrist named Dan Siegel. All right, we'll start with the hand. All right, this area is what we call the primitive brain. You may have heard of the brainstem and limbic area. It regulates emotions and the fight, flight, or freeze reactions. The job of this area is to keep you alive. It's going to send an alarm when it thinks something is out to get you. Now above this, we have the cortex to help us think and solve problems. This area here is the prefrontal cortex. This area regulates what's going on underneath. But sometimes somebody pushes a button and this happens. We flip our lids. We don't act like we want to. It's like we lose our reasoning power. A researcher called Colin Kammerer called the primitive brain the internal hypochondriac. So what does this have to do with anything? Well, it's to show you that your brain is doing its job. It's normal for the primitive brain to notice and freak the hell out when it thinks it's in danger. But if you've had some trauma, it looks more like this. It's like you're emotionally hijacked. Your brain is working just fine and doing what it's supposed to do to try to protect you. That's why you feel triggered. It's like your brain is sending out a warning flare. Danger, danger. Your brain is a meaning-making machine. Something happens and boom, your brain is making it mean something terrible. It's trying to protect you from getting hurt again. But that part of your brain is like an internal hypochondriac. It creates a problem when there is none. It's sneaky. Sometimes it tells you the sky is falling. So maybe your prefrontal cortex knows you're too fearful or over-worrying. So what to do? Well, it's time to harness the unbelievable power of the prefrontal cortex. Imagine liking exactly who you are in your relationship. Imagine being triggered and not freaking out. Imagine being able to handle whatever the relationship throws at you. You can do it. It's just a matter of learning how. That's where having a coach comes in. So here are some of the things your brain may be throwing out to you now. It thinks you don't have time to do anything about your emotional baggage. Well, just ask yourself how much time you've already wasted in your relationship. Just staying on the path you're on. Years may have gone by. In fact, you may even think things are getting worse. Also, think about the sheer amount of time you spend doing things that don't make your life any better, like overeating, overdrinking, and spending hours on social media and TV. And how much time have you lost doing the kind of ruminating that only makes your baggage worse? And here's a really common theme. Maybe you think you're broken, and that's just the way it is. Well, that is just a bold-faced lie your brain is throwing out at you. I'd bet anything that you're successful in many areas of your life because you were able to figure things out. And guess what? You'll be able to figure this out too. You just don't know what to do yet. Or maybe you're thinking it won't help. Of course it will. I can tell you that if I can figure this out and move my life from point A to point B, then you can too. I'll take you step by step. I'll teach you a tool that I use so you can work on your emotional baggage on your own. To work on your emotional baggage, you don't have to know where it came from. Maybe it came from your family of origin. Maybe it came from a past romantic relationship. The only thing you need to know is that you have it now. And yes, it's perfectly normal to be nervous before getting coached. We often get nervous about things we haven't experienced. It's just the fear of the unknown. And you don't have to do anything to prepare. All you have to do is show up with a willingness to take a look at your baggage. You can't change what happened in the past, but I can teach you how to manage what's going on in your life now. Emotional baggage is affecting your relationship, and it's so much better to get on top of it rather than being a victim to it. You may have heard the phrase, how you handle the issue is the issue. So don't let it be an issue any longer. You are not broken. All you need is somebody to help pull you off that hamster wheel. So what to do next? My program is called Make Baggage Your Bitch. It's perfect for you if you're committed to changing your life. This is your chance to sign up for a free coaching session with me to learn more about what's going on with you. If something about all this resonates with you, take the first step toward the relationship you want with yourself and your partner. Let me help you make baggage your bitch. Hope to see you soon.